The book does not make it a big deal that the students do not know how to protect themselves. It's not even mentioned. That, Harry Potter.
So even if you were a stranger, even if you were just a professor and you had just met Harry for the first time on the train a few months ago. Well, I'll tell you, since the last time that we recorded, I had to make a quick trip down to Orlando, Florida.
Oh, quick trip.
Yes.
I wish I could make a quick trip to Orlando, Florida. That'd be great.
It was literally 48 hours.
Isn't there like really bad weather there right now over there in that area? I heard there's like tornado watches all along over there.
No, there wouldn't be tornado watches. There would be hurricane watches, tropical storm hurricane. Not really tornadoes and stuff down there. But yeah, flew down on a Thursday night, flew back on a Saturday night, got in, woke up super early on Friday, went and played golf at one of my favorite courses down there, Eagle Creek. Such a great course. And then I was meeting up with friends later that evening around 6 or so that we could play. There's a night course over by Disney. It's a little par 3, 9-hole walking course that stays open till 11. So in between the morning golf, I had a few minutes to detour. And there's some spots over by another golf course, Orange Tree, where you can see Hogwarts Castle. Yeah, so you can see Hogwarts. So I went over there, went to City Walk for about an hour or so, and walked around. Almost called up a few friends that I knew were working that day, but I just didn't have time to go into Universal. But
was it just you or the family? Or
at that point, it was just me. No, I went down so I used to work in Orlando. I did a lot of personal injury work down there. And so I still know a lot of great attorneys and surgeons and imaging centers down there. So they'll do some golf events to not only network, but to raise money for certain causes and different things like that.
Cool, yeah.
So one of the guys that I worked with, he called me about a month or so ago. He goes, "Hey, I've got this 2 events happening back to back. Do you know these attorneys? Do you know these organizations?" I was like, "Yeah, I know those attorneys. Yeah, let me come on down." So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I went down because Allegiant flies from Asheville to Sanford, which is basically Orlando. And so for me and my golf clubs and my luggage, there and back again, I think was like $155. And I don't have to drive. Yeah, Allegiant is super sweet. If you've never flown Allegiant, they don't do late. They don't do layovers.
Right before or after the shutdown ended?
I guess it was. I don't know if they had voted on it or passed, but both airports are small airports. So
man, that's cheap.
Yeah. So yeah. It's
I
always.
want to go to Florida, but I want to drive, which is shooting myself in the foot because hotels, miles on the car, or if I rent a car. But
yeah, that's rough.
I've never flown.
Yeah,
I'm not scared to fly. I'm just.
You sound scared.
I like having my car.
I'm just kidding with you.
I like having my car. No, but that sounds like a good time to go on that city walk just by yourself. Just take it all in.
Yeah, just went down. I mean, they've got souvenir stuff down there, so it's nice to see, especially when you get close to Christmas. They've got all of the ornaments and Christmas stuff, the Harry Potter related stuff. It all looks awesome. Yeah, so then went over and golfed another 18 holes. So that was 36 holes on Friday, and then got up the next morning, played 18 holes.
How's your shoulder and elbow?
Bro, I'm indestructible.
I get tennis elbow doing bicep curls, so
you're doing it wrong then. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I injured myself one time. I was
overuse injury, yeah.
Yeah, I was doing preacher curls and I heard pop and I went, "Oh, that's not good." And then I kept working out for a couple months.
You don't want to hear any pops.
Yeah.
While you're doing those, so. But yeah, it was good. Good to be down in Orlando. Even better to be back in the mountains. So
nice. Okay. Welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles, to Squibs Corner. I am Jeremiah.
And I'm Andrew, and we're back with another podcast, another recording. Tonight we are jumping into Chapter 10, The Marauder's Map.
Oh,
of Book 3, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Let's start off with the 7-word summaries. Jeremiah, you got a good 7-word summary for us tonight?
Yeah, you want to do the 7-word summary instead of the recap?
No, we can do the recap. Let's do the recap. I'll do the recap.
Okay, let's switch it up. Let's switch it up and do the recap first.
Hold on, no. I gotta think. I gotta think. What was last time? The grim defeat.
Grim defeat.
A
yes,
grim defeat. Yeah. Man, it's been about a week and a half since we recorded, so I had to really think about that. Okay, so look, before we go forward, let's go backwards. You know how we like to recap here. So, Chapter 9, A Grim Defeat. Harry has been, the Gryffindor Quidditch team. This is Oliver Wood's last year to win the Quidditch Cup.
Yeah.
He's never won it. So they're training so that they can defeat Hufflepuff. And then the week of the match, they find out that or did I say Hufflepuff?
Yeah.
No. They're training for Slytherin.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right. Then the week of the cup, or the week of the match, they find out that Slytherin can't play this week because their Seeker's arm is still injured. Obviously, Draco is still trying to get Hagrid fired, so he's got to pretend that he's still injured from.
Yeah, I was going to say injured with the biggest quotation marks you've ever seen.
Yeah. He's got to pretend. It's all fake. So they find out the week of the match that they're not playing Slytherin. They're going to be playing Hufflepuff, which Oliver Wood is super upset about because Hufflepuff and Slytherin do not use the same tactics. And Hufflepuff's Seeker, Cedric Diggory, whom all the ladies love and is Jeremiah's best friend. They're,
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, so not only do they have to change up tactics real quick so that they can beat Hufflepuff, but the weather continually gets worse and worse and worse, and it seems like it's just absolutely torrential weather. So they get out and they're playing, and while Harry is trying to figure out, where everything's happening, he can barely hear anything over the sound of the storm. He looks around and he sees a large black dog, which we've gone over before, represents in the wizarding world the Grim, which is the omen of death. Lightning strikes. He sees the Grim. He looks down. He's going for the snitch at that point and sees the Grim, and then he loses, all focus. And then he hears
Dementor.
Well, he hears Oliver Wood, and now he's going. He's going back towards Cedric Diggory, and then in that distance, trying to close that distance between the snitch and Cedric. Dementors, not just one Dementor, not just two Dementors, but around 100 Dementors are storming the pitch. And Harry, before loses consciousness, he starts falling, and he hears the voices in his head, and he hears the screaming of a woman. He hears a woman scream, and then he wakes up in the hospital wing. When he wakes up in the hospital wing, he finds out, okay, Gryffindor lost the match by a significant number, and when he fell off his broom and went to the ground, his broom was blown away, and it landed in the Whomping Willow, and it was smashed to smithereens. And then, boom, here we are. Chapter 10, The Marauder's Map.
And now, since we switched it up, we'll go ahead and go into the 7-word summary.
Now we'll do the 7-word summary, because I'm on my A game.
Yes. So I do have a 7-word summary, and the summary is aimed at a certain minister for magic. Don't investigate. Just assume you know everything.
So many loopholes, so many plot holes here. But we've got some great theories for some plot holes in this chapter.
Oh, good.
Which are spoiler alerts, so we'll do all the spoiler alerts.
It's going to be a spoiler alert chapter.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
It
is.
Sometimes it's unavoidable.
It is. It's unavoidable. So, Harry Potter risks death for some Hogsmeade.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely talk about that.
Yeah, Harry. Come on, Harry. Come on.
He's got like part of a brain at least. I mean,
The same 13-year-old that gets to stay at Diagon Alley for 2 weeks is like, no, I better not spend too much. I should be fiscally conservative. I've still got 4 more years after this year, so I gotta be. Is like, oh, there's a mass murderer after me. Gotta get to Hogsmeade.
I'm gonna go into Hogsmeade with no thought about anything other than how I'm getting there.
I'm going to Hogsmeade, baby.
All right, so let's get into the 7 chapter notables. These were hard. Some of them might seem not very important, but there's a lot of little things in this chapter that come up later, and yeah, it's.
There could have been 14 chapter notables in this chapter. This is a beast. I think we've said it a few times.
It was
this
a big
book.
chapter. I was glad last week when you said, "Hey, we can't do the chapter this week." I was like, "Oh, cool," because I'm like,
yeah.
The first page was half of a page. I was 4 pages into the script. So,
yeah.
All right, number 1, the Whomping Willow was planted when? 2, anti-Dementor lessons is what Harry calls it. 3, what's up with the bit of old parchment? 4, but I'm their brother. I had to put that one in there because it comes up later.
What? It's so good.
5, Madame Rosmerta. She plays... Man, she plays a big role later towards the end of the book.
Yeah. Good recurring character.
Yeah. 6. Wait, seriously? Sirius Black is Harry's. Number 7. Peter Pettigrew. So, I'm going to read the first paragraph, and then we're going to kind of get into not necessarily the chapter, but a grievance about this book as a whole, I think. So, Madame Pomfrey insisted on keeping Harry in the hospital wing for the rest of the weekend. He didn't argue or complain, but he wouldn't let her throw away the shattered remnants of his Nimbus 2000. He knew he was being stupid, knew that the Nimbus was beyond repair, but Harry couldn't help it. He felt as though he'd lost one of his best friends. And you know what? I probably would have done the same thing too. Like, hey, no, don't throw that away. I'm keeping that.
Why is the Nimbus beyond repair?
I don't think you... See, it's the same thing with Quidditch. You cannot use magic during Quidditch, which is why I had the issue with Hermione fixing Harry's glasses. But broomsticks, you can't really... man, I don't think you can magically repair a broomstick, but I was going to say you can't use magic on them, but the whole of the broomstick is magical, so...
Right. So the only thing that we learn in the series that is irreparable is something damaged by dark magic. Mm-hmm. Right?
Or a wand.
Excuse me?
We haven't got that far yet. So as of
Excuse me?
right now, a wand.
Except, durst my ears deceive me?
Hey. As far as the not so Harry Potter fans understand.
Yeah, so my thing is, Harry's like, oh, I know it's beyond repair. How do you know that? You could have said, oh, because I got this book about wands as a present, I read in there that it says once a broomstick is shattered and splintered, it cannot be repaired. But he's just like, oh, it can't be repaired. You're telling me Dumbledore can't walk in there right now with his wand and say, Reparo? And the thing's not going to come back? That's all I'm asking.
Okay, so
that's all I'm asking.
AI overview says, yes, a broomstick can be repaired using a basic mending charm like Reparo.
Well, come on now! I am artificial intelligence, baby!
But the effectiveness depends on the extent of the damage and the broom's magical enchantments. If the damage is minor, a simple repair spell can fix physical breaks. However, if the broom is smashed into many pieces or the magic core is destroyed, there's a magic core in a broomstick? Repair was not enough to make it fly again.
Now AI gets a little wild on their stuff. They get a little wild.
Yeah.
Wands have cores.
Yeah, I don't think there's a core in a broomstick. Man, that'd be wild if there was. That's something we wouldn't know.
That would be neat.
But yeah, I've always assumed that there's only magic can only do so much. You know, it can't do absolutely everything.
With that attitude.
Exactly with that attitude.
All I'm saying is Harry could have consulted a professor.
He could have tried instead of assuming.
Yeah, he just assumes. You go to a wizard school and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to assume that this can't be fixed. My glasses can be fixed. Everything can be fixed, but not my broom.
You know who would have been the perfect person to ask? I don't know. The flying instructor?
Any competent wizard?
Madam Hooch, the flying instructor? The one that deals with all this stuff? And possibly Hagrid? Possibly Hagrid? He does maintain the brooms. That's right. That's possibly. But anyway.
Yeah, possibly.
So.
Okay. Anyway, we digress.
Yes.
We digress.
We're going to get into this before we get into the chapter. And it has a little to do with the chapter. So. Okay, now, Andrew, I'm going to take this back. There are Dementors in Hogwarts.
In Hogwarts?
At Hogwarts.
At Hogwarts. I like it.
Hogwarts is full of children. And we've talked about this before. But it has to be talked in depth. Yes. Happy children. Yes, for the most part. Maybe they never affect Draco because he's just not happy. Most of them in this case are defenseless because they don't know how to protect themselves against a Dementor attack. So the fact that Cornelius Fudge did not stress the importance to Dumbledore of teaching them Expecto Patronum shows, I dare say, the incompetence of the Minister for Magic.
Sure.
But you can also turn it around and ask, why did Dumbledore not insist on teaching them the Patronus Charm? I think it went something like this. Dumbledore said, this isn't a good idea. Cornelius insisted and didn't give him any type of instructions on whether to teach the students the spell. So Dumbledore, being the Dumbledore that we know and love, simply went, all right, sure, let's do this and see how bad of an idea this is, shall we? But we can also talk about the fact that the Patronus spell is said to be so advanced that some fully grown wizards cannot produce a corporeal Patronus, which is a Patronus that takes the form of some sort of animal. Non-corporeal.
Or creature, yeah.
Yeah, non-corporeal, you're just sending out a blob, pretty much. But not only that, but the Patronus Charm, I don't know if you know this, it's not even taught at Hogwarts.
I did know that.
Yeah, so we see it in
very advanced.
Yeah, we see it in book 5 when Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, only because, as we find out in this chapter, Lupin taught Harry because Harry insisted on knowing the spell and subsequently would later help others learn the spell. Don't you think this is a big, huge deal? You're sending Dementors into a school filled of happy, defenseless children. All of them. Save for maybe, I would assume there's a select few that probably know the spell.
Yeah, it's possible. So what we learn from... So we don't just meet Dementors in this book, right? We meet them in a couple of the books. There is a level of communication and hierarchy between wizards and Dementors. Obviously, Dementors, we learn, are the guardians of the prison, the Azkaban prison. Yeah. And they do that on the Ministry's orders, and it's also a place where they can kind of satisfy their need. right?
That's a big issue later. Yeah.
Right. So, which is a big issue later. So I think that Cornelius Fudge is like, yeah, and we see it later. Cornelius Fudge is like, we've told them to stay outside. There should be no problem. And Dumbledore's like, you're lying to yourself if you think that just because you've told them to. And so I think that's why, look, the professors were out at the game.
Madame Rosmerta was upset. The teachers are upset.
Well, Madame Rosmerta, she wasn't there, but we learned in this chapter that the Dementors keep checking the city.
Yeah.
And everybody
business,
there, everybody there hates it. So it is, we do know that they want to find Sirius.
Yeah.
Right? We do know that they want to find Sirius, and them losing control. The fact that they lost control at the Quidditch match, and yet they're still allowed to stay at Hogwarts, means that the Wizarding world is so afraid of having Sirius Black at large that they're willing to risk a couple of snafus. Yeah, because Cornelius Fudge could be like, did anyone die? Was anybody hurt? Like, was anybody physically, and the answer is, no. Dumbledore was there, and when it got out of control, Dumbledore himself was able to handle 100 Dementors.
It's also, Harry's the only one that's been attacked twice.
And you can't even call it attacked. I wouldn't call it attacked. Their presence was
affected,
near.
I guess. Affected.
Yeah. Very well. No, they're all affected. So if you remember on the train ride, Ron and Hermione and Fred and George were even talking about it. And so they're all like, "Oh my gosh, it felt this way. I hated it." Harry is, and we learn this chapter why Harry is affected so much more than any of the other students.
Yeah.
So Professor Lupin, he has a discussion with Professor Lupin about why me? Why does it affect me so much?
Yeah.
And he answers that, and we'll go over that in a minute. But I think it's almost one of those things where we have two options, right? We don't have the Dementors, and Sirius Black is there, and he could possibly break into the castle and kill Harry Potter, or we have the Dementors there. And there could be some frightened children. There could be some children that pass out and all that stuff. But Harry Potter is still alive. Which one do you choose?
There's also ways to protect the castle with spells. You can pretty much put Hogwarts in a dome.
True.
So nobody can get in.
It's very true. Very true.
It shows the hastiness.
We don't see that yet, but you're correct. Yeah.
It shows the hastiness of Cornelius Fudge, and also the book does not make it a big deal that the students do not know how to protect themselves. That's not even mentioned.
Right.
Harry Potter mentions it, of course, but but it should be a huge deal. Like there should be ongoing talks about, people say, I'm so uncomfortable with these Dementors here, how dangerous they could be. It's just doesn't get talked about enough in this book, honestly. The Dementors get talked about plenty, but
the children not being able to, but here's the thing. So far we've seen the Patronus performed twice, and neither one of them were corporeal.
Yeah, Lupin's wasn't.
Lupin's was it, and Dumbledore's at the Quidditch match. He comes out and does, but they don't say like, oh, it turned into, an animal or a creature. It just shows, it just says.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because we could go back. Grim defeat. They're telling Harry. Dumbledore was really angry. I've never seen him like that before. He ran onto the field as you fell, waved his wand, and you sort of slowed down before you hit the ground. Then he whirled his wand at the Dementors, shot silver stuff at them. They left the stadium right away. So
I wonder if she had came up with the idea of corporeal at this point, because I could have swore he had a corporeal Patronus. Maybe I just assumed that, though. I could just be making
that. I mean, you would assume if you've read the entire series, obviously a corporeal Patronus. Just a Patronus in and of itself is difficult to conjure, but to have a corporeal Patronus, that's super advanced. And so you'd think that, Dumbledore did that, but Hermione just says shot silver stuff. Now it was raining, it was storming, it was lightning, and she's looking at Harry and all this stuff. So it could be one of those things that she just didn't realize.
I think Hermione would have realized if it.
I think she would have.
Yeah. Man, look at this. 26 minutes into the episode, and we haven't even started the chapter, guys.
We're going to fly through it. We're going to fly through it.
We're not going to fly through this chapter.
We're not. There's no way. There's no way. As I was saying it, I was like, it's unnecessary.
I did manage to keep it under 20 pages on the script, which I thought was going to be a 30-page read.
Very impressive. Very impressive. All right. So Harry, remember, we're back in the hospital wing. Harry's there. He's got visitors. Hagrid brought him what the book calls earwiggy flowers that look like yellow cabbage, which basically means that Hagrid had brought into what we can assume a clean, possibly even a sterile environment. That sounds like he brought flowers that look like cabbage and might have earwigs in them. I'm not sure, but to call them an earwiggy flower seems like Hagrid doesn't necessarily think things through.
Yeah, good job, Hagrid.
But we love them. So earwiggies, the earwiggy flowers have many uses. They can be used in accordance with extendable ears. From there, you can let your imagination run. So it's really hard to, really wrap your head around all that can do. Why Hagrid said this is what Harry needs more than anything at this moment.
It's funny because when Hagrid goes to get Harry in the first place, he starts a fire, he cooks sausage, it's delicious. And then the rest of the book, the rest of the movies, anything that Hagrid gives Harry, Ron, or Hermione, like a rock cake, they do not want to eat it because it's terrible.
That's true.
He comes off as a good cook, and then all of a sudden he's terrible and nobody wants anything he gives him.
Yeah.
Especially the teapot with just water because they forgot to put the tea bags in it.
So Hagrid brings this earwiggy flower. Ginny, blushingly, mind you, brings him a get well card that sings. She loves to sing. The team would. She loves the cards. Other people do the singing, not her. The team comes. This time Oliver Wood does come. And Wood says, I hate this happened. It wasn't your fault. But it said that his voice was kind of hollow. So I don't think he's truly you've heard the phrase in team sports, you got to sacrifice the body, right? Yeah. You got to do this thing. And so Wood was like, okay,
I don't blame you in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Ron, Hermione, they visited Harry anytime they could until it was time for Ben. The Gryffindor team, when the Gryffindor team visited them, they were as consoling as they had. The whole team, obviously Wood, it was good of him. So, so while he's in hospital wing, at least people are coming up to see him after what could be seen as an embarrassing situation.
Well, it's nice that Wood came up there because Harry was probably feeling pretty bad. Wood's so upset he didn't even come visit him in the first place, and now after Harry
that was right after the game, So I get it. It was right after the game, but at least he.
Yeah.
But there's still hope. Hope is still alive for the Quidditch Cup and the Gryffindor team.
So just to keep everyone up to pace here, this is the second time Harry has seen the Grim, and also the second time Harry's been affected by a Dementor. The first time he saw the Grim was right before he accidentally, keep that in mind, summoned the night bus, K-N-I-G-H-T. But this time, he didn't tell anyone yet. Of course, he's going to tell Ron and Hermione eventually. Oh, and let's see here. You know this answer. Super easy. It's the only pop quiz I remember to put in here. How many feet did Harry fall after being affected by the Dementor?
Was it 50 feet?
Yes.
Yeah,
ding,
50
ding,
feet.
ding, ding. It was too easy.
That.
It was too easy. So, this is curious here after Harry falls off the broom. Dumbledore uses the spell Arresto Momentum in the movies. So this is curious here after Harry falls off of his broomstick. So Dumbledore uses the spell Arresto Momentum in the movies when Harry falls off his broom. This spell slows down or even stops the movement of people or objects. But in the books, someone says, just a random person, luckily the ground was so soft. This would insinuate that the cushioning charm was used in the book. And obviously this would cushion Harry's fall. But fun fact, the cushioning charm was primarily invented to make brooms more comfortable for riders.
Yes. Yeah, can we address... These are people sitting on a broomstick.
Yes.
At least, and I don't
You'd
know
think
if
there'd be a saddle or something on it.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think in the books it ever mentions like stirrups, things that you can put your feet on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! But they're sitting on a broomstick.
Yeah. But the fact that Harry saw Grimm and was affected yet again by the Dementors, and keep in mind, like I said before, he's the only person affected, or at least talked about being affected by the Dementors in such an extreme way, since they've been at Hogwarts twice. And every time he's affected by the Dementors, he hears screaming and sees flashes of green light, and he's just reminded about Voldemort again, over and over and over.
Does he see the green light?
Sometimes he sees the green light. Yeah, it says sometimes he sees that.
Okay.
Maybe not every time, but
yeah. I know that he hears, like he'll hear Voldemort, and he hears his mother screaming, and
I think after Hagrid told him what happened, he's okay. Now that you say that, I remember a flashing green light.
Well, and he'd have dreams. We know that he's had dreams about the flashing, the green light, but regardless, it's that scene that comes to him when the longer that he's around a Dementor.
Yeah.
But we can, I think it's safe to say we can all understand Harry at this point, right? With all that's going on. So he's in the hospital wing. He's got plenty of time to think about what's going on, which if you've ever been stuck in one place for a long period of time, your mind goes over everything, and it can be exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry's happy. Obviously, he's released from the hospital wings. He's able to get out into the corridors, go to his classes. Even at this point, dealing with Draco mocking him for falling, and the Dementors is like, cool, as long as I'm out of the hospital wing.
Right.
Draco is over the moon, right? Super excited. Gryffindor's has lost, and Draco's making fun of Harry, and now he doesn't even have the cast on. Now he doesn't have the bandages on. He's just full on.
He's magically better.
Draco being Draco. So he does this so much that our boy Ron here, Harry's second, right? If we were dueling, he's had enough. So so they're in potions. Draco's doing what Draco does, and Ron flings a large, slippery crocodile heart at Malfoy, which lost Gryffindor 50 points. Yeah. Worth it? Worth it. Worth it, right? Yeah. So now for the bad news. Well, let's talk about good news. So something good, Professor Lupin was back in the Defense Against the Dark Arts. They were afraid that they'd have to have Snape in there again. And they were complaining to him, like, we did werewolves. We told him that we hadn't done, all the stuff. He's like, you got to do werewolves. 2 rolls of parchment for, a homework assignment, an essay on werewolves. And Lupin's like, stop. You don't have to do all that. And Hermione's like, oh, I've already done that. Yeah. So I love Hermione. So they go in, they're doing Defense Against the Dark Arts. They were studying Hinkypunks, which, we've seen before briefly. Described in the book to be a little one-legged creature who looked as though he were made of wisps of smoke, rather frail and harmless looking, and made a horrible squelching noise against the glass. J.K. Rowling came up with the idea of hinky punks from British folklore, specifically the folklore of West Country, Devon and Somerset. They are a regional version of the will-o'-the-wisp or the ghost light, which are said to lure travelers astray at night with flickering light. Even Lupin, describing it, he's like, see the little lanterns there on their head. Yeah. People get lost in the bogs. They lure them and they takes them.
Yeah, I love to point that stuff out because...
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Most of the time you're reading a book, you go, oh, that's a cool thing they made up. Nope. It's not made up. To an extent, but, it's based off of,
Sure.
Pretty cool. So, when they went to leave, Lupin called back for Harry to stay. They talked about how the Nimbus 2000 had been torn into pieces by chapter notable number 1, the Whomping Willow, and that the Whomping Willow had been planted the same year that he, Lupin, came to Hogwarts. So, something to keep in mind.
Interesting, yeah.
Yes. And they started talking about the Dementors. Then Harry said something that clearly made Lupin's heart drop for Harry, but before we get into that, we have to play a couple little parts because it's pretty good character building.
All right, I'll be Harry. Why? Why do they affect me like that? Am I just...
It has nothing to do with weakness. The Dementors affect you worse than others because there are horrors in your past that others don't have. Then we get a little bit of information about the Dementors from Lupin. Dementors are among the foulest creatures that walk this earth. They infest the darkness, filthiest places. They glory in decay, despair. They drain peace, hope, and happiness out of the air around them. Even muggles feel their presence, though they can't see them. Get too near a Dementor and every good feeling, every happy memory will be sucked out of you. If it can, the Dementor will feed on you long enough to reduce you to something like itself. Soulless and evil. You'll be left with nothing but the worst experiences of your life. And the worst thing that happened to you, Harry, is enough to make anyone fall off their broom. You have nothing to feel ashamed of. And then Harry drops the sentence that makes Professor Lupin's heart clearly break.
When they get near me, I can hear him, Voldemort, murdering my mum.
Yes.
So even if you were a stranger, even if you were just a professor and you had just met Harry for the first time on the train a few months ago, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But the things that we learn along the way, shattering.
Yeah,
right.
If he would have just said, I can hear Voldemort and my mom, not that bad. It's still bad, but Voldemort murdering my mom? Jesus.
Yeah. So Harry, like any other kid, asked Lupin why were the Dementors even at the match? It didn't make sense. They're not supposed to be around the students, which is a topic I think a lot of people bring up when they at least get to that part of the book. And Lupin explains, simple explanation for this, aside from Dumbledore handling the Dementors pre-Quidditch matches, the Dementors are getting hungry. They strive on happiness. At the prison, they have a constant supply of people that they are in close proximity to that they can feed off of. Since they're searching for Black, they haven't found him. They've got nothing else to feed on in the Quidditch matches. It's full of people filled with hope, happiness, fun. They're cheering. And that is exactly what a Dementor is, attracted to and led to. And then Harry asked if Lupin would teach him how to fight off the Dementors. He's like, look, Dumbledore used the silver stuff. You fought them off on the train. And Lupin's like, it was one Dementor there. But he's like, look, this is, teach me how to do it. And so one Dementor, it doesn't matter. He's like, look, I'm 13, but if I'm playing Quidditch again and the Dementors come, I need to be able to protect myself. which, yeah, I get it. I'm at a wizard school. Teach me wizard things.
Yes. Yes.
Chapter notable number 2, Lupin says,
Well, all right. I'll try to help, but it'll have to wait until next term, I'm afraid. I have a lot to do before the holidays. I chose a very inconvenient time to fall ill. And that's huge. That's it. That's a huge notable.
Another little plot hole here. I guess we could talk about it at the end.
Okay.
I gotta write down my plot holes, man.
Do it. Let me know after you wrote it down and we'll go. It's a huge chapter.
Okay.
That's why I said look at the end, and because I just summed it up as in few words as I could.
Yeah.
So, if you can remember the last chapter, Gryffindor went against Hufflepuff, and Gryffindor lost by 100 points. Well, Ravenclaw had just beat Hufflepuff. So now all they have to do is beat Ravenclaw and Slytherin. Wood had finally stopped trying to drown himself in the showers. Now, and that's not funny, but it is funny. And now, just like every chapter, we briefly mentioned Quidditch, and now we're going to move on. So now it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Ron and Hermione had decided to stay at Hogwarts, and they both made up excuses as to why they stayed, but it was obvious they stayed because of Harry, and he was happy about it. But there was yet another trip to Hogsmeade, and Harry was to be left alone. All of the holiday joy drained.
Just drained. But this is great, right? This is the last day of the term before the holidays. J.K. Rowling's inclusion of the Weasley twins right here. Boom, right? The Weasley twins' involvement gets pretty great going forward.
And you only need to mention just a tiny, tiny bit.
Just a smidge.
It was enough
right?
to do it for him.
Yeah, just a smidge. So we get the Weasley twins. It's another bit of character development, which we love. And it's great because with the Weasley twins, like you just said, a little bit goes a long way. So they see Harry. Harry is obviously not going to Hogsmeade. And they say, hey, Harry, we've been thinking about this. We've got something for you. And he's like, okay. And they give him an old piece of parchment. And Harry's like, what's all this about? What is this? And they explained that earlier in their academic career, they set off a dung bomb in the corridors, and Filch had taken them to his office, naturally. And then he found this piece of old parchment. And Harry still didn't understand what was going on, doubted it. He felt like he was being pranked. What is this thing?
Of course, it's the Weasley twins. Of course you feel like you're being pranked.
Of course you feel like you're being
We've
pranked.
got this super special thing for you, Harry.
Yeah.
Here's an old piece of paper.
An old piece of parchment, yeah. So George takes out his wand and he says, dare I say, an iconic Harry Potter line.
And I gave the quote to you.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Yes.
Chapter notable number 3. A message then appears across the top in great curly green words that proclaimed, Messrs. Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, purveyor of aids to magical mischief, mischief makers, purveyors of aids to magical mischief makers.
Go ahead and start that over.
Okay. So then chapter notable number 3, a message then appeared across the top in great curly green words that proclaimed, Messrs. Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, purveyors of aids to magical mischief makers, are proud to present the Marauder's map. And there was a map that showed every detail of Hogwarts began to spread across the page. You could see Hogwarts, the castle, the grounds. There were ink dots moving around, and they represented people that were in the castle. Dumbledore was pacing in his study. Filch's cat, Mrs. Norris, was walking around second floor. Peeves the poltergeist was bouncing around in the trophy room, and it also had a set of hidden passages in and out of Hogwarts. Most of the passages lead to, that's right, Hogsmeade.
Yep.
There are 7 in total, but for some reason, J.K. includes one that the twins say recently caved in, and somehow they only know about 4. Like somehow only the professors, the staff, know about 4.
Well,
And then
my issue with them only knowing about 4 is the map doesn't lie, as we find out later. It shows everything. Why would you only know about 4, not the whole 7? I get why she said 7, because 7's a magical, very powerful magical number, but how do they only know about 4 is my question.
The professors?
No, the Weasley twins. They
No,
only
the
know
professors.
about 4.
No.
Really?
No, they know about all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Weasleys know about all of them. Only the professors. Let's go back. See, I love this game.
That.
No. You don't need to apologize.
Oh, I was like, what? What happened?
You don't need to apologize.
I'm sorry. Andrew, please forgive me.
2 rolls of parchment. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so there's Fred and George. Let's see. What's this supposed to be? First year, young and carefree, innocent. That's when they get it. And you know how to work it. Okay, they show it. Okay, so right into Hogsmeade. Okay, so here's what he said. Right into Hogsmeade, said Fred, tracing one of them with his finger. There are 7 in all. Now, Filch knows about these 4. He pointed them out. But we're sure we're the only ones who know about these 3. Don't bother with the one behind the mirror on the 4th floor. We used it until last winter, but it's caved in, completely blocked. And we don't reckon anyone's ever used this one because the Whomping Willow's planted right over the entrance. But this one here, this one leads right into the cellar of Honeydukes.
Yes.
So Filch only knows about 4 of them.
Okay. That makes more sense.
The Weasley twins, look, this is why we do what we do.
This is why podcast.
This is why
podcast.
This is why podcast. So Filch knows about 4. The twins know about 7. Obviously, one we can't use, one's caved in. This ties into chapter notable number 4. One of them was, the entrance was right.
No, it ties into chapter notable number 1.
Or what did I say? Oh, yeah, they only know about 4. And, obviously the one that's the entrance below the Whomping Willow ties into chapter notable number 1.
Yeah.
But the one Harry would find most useful that leads to the cellar of Honeydukes is located just around the corner from where they're standing through. There's a statue of an old witch, an old crone with one eye.
I don't know if I could do it, Fred.
Let's do this. So George says, Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs. We owe them so much.
Noble men, working tirelessly to help a new generation of lawbreakers.
Right. Don't forget to wipe it after you've used it.
Or anyone can read it.
Just tap it again and say,
Mischief managed.
And it'll go blank.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Mischief managed. There's so many people that have tattoos with that stuff.
You know what's really hard for me not to do? And I don't know if you'll get this reference. But when it says, I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared. Like, my brain is so terrible.
Okay, that's nothing. I don't think I have to censor this. So I watched the video. It's the parents trying to teach little kids certain words. One of the words, happiness. Little kid looks straight up. Happy penis. So every time I hear somebody say happiness, I go, happy penis. Every time.
You might have to censor that. We don't know if we got 11-year-olds listening to this podcast.
Hey, well, you know what? It's anatomically correct, which is
all
what
true.
I teach my kids. So
all true. There you go.
I've never let them use the word thingy or whatever. I said, no, it's called this. We're going to get it right. But, so there's a problem with this map. If you remember Mr. Weasley saying, never trust anything that can think for itself if you can't see where it keeps its brain. He said this after he found out Ginny had been communicating with Voldemort's diary, But as a boy, excited in desperation would do, he reasoned that, well, you know what, the twins have been using this and they're fine. I'm going to go ahead and do this.
I like it. Yep. Same.
It looks like an innocent thing, which we'll find out later. But obviously, if you just sit down and think about that map, getting into the wrong hands could be a bad person, could be just someone that thinks differently. Not that great of a thing to have. But the cool thing here is that Harry wanted to go to Hogsmeade, but he didn't know how to open the passage. So, because of magic, the map, sensing that it had a new owner, it showed him. It showed him to tap his wand, and then the spell that he needed, popped up in a bubble and said, Descendium. Then the witch opened up and Harry climbed in, and we see the Lumos spell being used again. Then he tapped the map and said, Mischief managed. And this part is good. So, Harry found Ron and Hermione. They're trying to figure out which candy to bring back to Harry. And aren't they like in a section that's called like unusual treats or something like that?
Yeah, like exotic treats or something like that. Yeah.
Ron had suggested cockroach clusters, and then a voice out of nowhere, definitely not, and scared the crap out of Harry. Or Ron, I mean.
Yes.
Because it was Harry. Now, keep in mind that Harry's not supposed to be there. So, you would assume he's trying to hide, right? Right? Not be out in the open where everybody can see him. Andrew, is he using the invisibility cloak?
No.
Of course he's not. Why would he? Why would he?
In his defense,
he wasn't thinking.
This was an impromptu. Right, he wasn't planning on going.
No.
He wasn't planning on going.
I'm going to veto that because the first thing I would have thought was, I need to go grab my invisibility cloak. I'm going to figure out how to do this, and I'm going to go to Hogsmeade. First thing I would have thought, invisibility cloak. I'm not supposed to be there. Obviously, there's going to be adults there. If by some chance there's no teachers there, there's going to be people there. Anybody. Adults, kids. Hey, I saw Harry Potter. What? You saw what? Who? You saw
who now?
Yeah, who? What?
Yeah.
And why would he not, like, why would it not come to mind? Oh, there's going to be teachers there. Why? Just assumes it's just Hogsmeade children, no adults, unsupervised.
Gotta be more careful, Harry. You gotta be more careful.
I'm wondering why J.K. Rowling didn't include the invisibility cloak as much as she should have, because honestly, it makes Harry look stupid. It just makes him look stupid.
True. Like now, she does add things in the wording here. It's like, man, there's just crowded, so many kids running around that no one would notice. But yeah, I think if it's any logical person that's already on thin ice.
There's been a number of times I've listened to the audiobooks and I go, wow, Harry's not smart. He's not the best character of the series. Like, if you really get down to it.
Yeah. So regardless, invisibility cloak or not, he has snuck into Hogsmeade. He's there with Ron and Hermione. Ron's super stoked. Hermione's like, Harry. Ron's like, oh my gosh, you learned to apparate. And Harry's like, obviously, I haven't learned to apparate. So Harry tells them about the map, which Ron obviously is super like, I'm their brother. Like, why doesn't this get to me? Which is obviously chapter notable number 4. But yeah, you'd think if your older brothers had this really cool thing, and then not only did they never tell you about it, but they gave it to your best friend.
Right.
You're like, what is happening here?
That's great.
And so, yeah, Hermione's obviously insistent. They didn't want Percy
to find out, I would assume. So If they're, I mean, he
Could
was
see
the
that.
head
Yeah.
boy at that point,
Yeah.
but still, Percy obviously is gonna go tell their mom and
Yeah.
dad, and the less
Yeah.
people that know, the better, I guess.
Yeah, I
but
could see
now,
that.
first people to find out about this map is Ron and Hermione. So
Yes.
Harry sucks
Yeah.
keeping secrets.
So obviously Ron's bummed that he'd never heard of it, nor did he get to be the one that receives the map. But Hermione's like, look, this actually sounds like it could be pretty dangerous in our current situation, right? She's like, Harry, you need to turn in the map because the threat of Sirius Black was so serious. And so Harry, again, 13-year-old, was like, well, if I turn it in, Filch is going to know that Fred and George nicked the map. And I don't want Fred and George to get in trouble, so I'll keep the map.
It sounds like he's trying to make up an excuse, but honestly, I would feel the same way. Like, no, then they're going to find out Fred and George had it, then they're going to get in trouble. I don't want them to get in trouble. So I feel him. I feel him.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So Hermione, she was also like, Harry, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be out here. What if Sirius Black comes around? And Ron is like, he's going to have a hard time finding one student with the hundreds of students running around here. And then there was even a notice out there that was, by order of the Ministry of Magic, customers are reminded that until further notice, Dementors will be patrolling the streets of Hogsmeade, which would further dissuade Sirius from being there. Patrolling the streets of Hogsmeade every night after sundown. This measure has been put in place for the safety of Hogsmeade's residents and will be lifted upon the recapture of Sirius Black. It is therefore advisable that you complete your shopping well before nightfall. Merry Christmas. But Hermione, we love Hermione. She is the mature one of the group. Still very worried about Harry being there, so she asks. So Harry's like, you going to report me? You going to snitch? Hermione, tell me right now. Do I got to worry about you?
I love it, too. You need to return that. You need to turn it in. And Harry's like, no. And Ron's like, are you crazy? I just like that Harry is like, no. And then that was pretty much it with that. So, you're going to turn me in, Hermione? So, they eventually wind up in the Three Broomsticks, where we find out a few things, and probably one of the most important things is we find out that Ron has a crush on the owner of the Three Broomsticks, which is not important in the slightest, and I don't think it ever gets mentioned again. But chapter notable number 5, the person he has a crush on is Madame Rose Merta, who we find out isn't too fond of the Dementors either, and we've already mentioned that. But now there's a problem. Now there's a problem.
Now there's a problem in the Harry Potter books.
Like we said, Harry snuck into Hogsmeade without the invisibility cloak because he uses all of his brains.
Yeah.
Naturally, like I mentioned, adults would be in Hogsmeade as well. Adults who are also teachers. And all of a sudden, Professor McGonagall, Flitwick, Hagrid, and the Minister for Magic, Cornelius Fudge, walk into the Three Broomsticks. Hermione, being the only smart one in the group at this point, moved a Christmas tree between them all using a spell called Mobiliar Bus. Hermione, being the only smart person in the group at this point, moved a Christmas tree between them all using the spell Mobiliarbus, which is a charm that levitates an object, and at this point it was a Christmas tree. But it's similar, if not less useful than Wingardium Leviosa, because this charm is said to only lift specifically wooden objects. And I'm a little confused why you would just not use Wingardium Leviosa. It seems a little redundant to have this spell, but then the English language is very redundant, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, it sounds like Mobiliarbus. Arbus sounds like arbor, which is plants. Like if you have an arboretum or an arborist, that's somebody that deals with plants. So Wingardium Leviosa feels like it's lifting something in the air, and maybe Mobiliarbus is like, oh, this plant, I can just move it easily and effortlessly. But yeah, it's like, why do we have... Just like Levicorpus, right? Levicorpus, you're just lifting a body in the air, so why can't you just do Wingardium Leviosa and lift the body in the air?
Well, that was a spell that they made up just to have fun with it, though. But so Cornelius Fudge asked Madame Rosmerta to join them, and again she started complaining that the Dementors are scaring away all her customers.
Yes. Yeah, so they sit down, and they're very near Harry, Ron, and Hermione, which have now been hidden by a Christmas tree.
And they shoved Harry down under the table.
Yeah, they shoved him down, and so they're there. And this is where the story really takes another level of severity. It's really I love this part of the story. The subject of Sirius Black was brought up after Rosmerta complained about the Dementors, all while Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they're there and they can hear everything. So at this point, we can call it gossip, or we can just call it we're filling in Rosmerta about everything that's going on.
Or we can call it what was my 7-word summary? Let's see. Let's go back up. Don't investigate. Just assume you know everything. So
assume you know everything. Yeah. So here's what we as the readers find out for the first time. Yeah. So Sirius Black went to Hogwarts. Sirius Black had a best friend in Hogwarts. They were inseparable. James Potter, who is obviously Harry's dad, and they were best friends. The two, as Hagrid put it, could give the Weasley twins a run for their money as far as being mischievous. But I love that we learn here that McGonagall says they were both actually really, really smart students.
Yeah.
Which is I think something that's really cool for Harry to hear, but it's not really brought up a lot. We learn about James, that he's cocky, that he's Quidditch and loves Lily. We hear that Lily was a bright witch, that she was a powerful witch. But right here, for Professor McGonagall to emphasize Sirius Black and James Potter being really, really smart students, I really like that. Yeah. We learned that they were such best friends that even after school, Sirius Black was James Potter's best man when he married Lily, obviously Harry's mom. Then chapter notable number 6, Sirius Black was actually Harry Potter's godfather. Now this is Harry Potter is learning all of this, right, for the first time. Hermione and Ron are hearing this for the first time as well. Then we go into a little bit of deeper magic. Sirius Black was the Potter's secret keeper, which is made possible by what's called a Fidelius Charm. So we know that we know that Voldemort was hunting down wizards and witches that were against them. And it got back to Dumbledore and the Order of the Phoenix that Voldemort had the Potters on his list and that he was after them. So in order to protect them, Dumbledore was going to perform the Fidelius Charm for the Potters, and this is how Flitwick explains it. The Fidelius Charm is an immensely complex spell involving the magical concealment of a secret inside a single living soul. The information is hidden inside the chosen person or secret keeper, and is henceforth impossible to find unless, of course, the secret keeper chooses to divulge it. As long as the secret keeper refuses to speak, you know who could search the village where Lily and James were staying for years and never find them, not even if he had his nose pressed against their sitting room window.
And that is amazing.
Super important.
But it's amazing.
Yeah.
To just completely conceal something that's there. To where you can be staring right at it. I'm staring at you. Fidelius Charm. Oh, you're not there.
But they don't know.
Crazy.
Now, we also see that there are many different ways of doing this. It's like Hogwarts is so enchanted that if a muggle wanders near Hogwarts, becomes very foggy. There's a sign there that says caution, keep out, and they're just naturally driven to walk away from it.
Yeah, I was gonna
right?
say, yeah. They kind of forget what they're doing and kind of
Yeah,
just
so
go
there's
back where they came from.
enchantments.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's enchantments of many signs, but this one is a way to truly keep an area or a place concealed.
Yeah, it's
So a
nice.
little after a week from this, they say, Cornelius Fudge is kind of telling all this. After a week that the charm was put on there, Sirius Black betrayed them because he was tired of his double agent role. Remember Stan Shunpike earlier on the night bus was like, he was Baldy's number 2 man, right? And so then notable number 7, Peter Pettigrew, who was also friends with Harry and James back in their Hogwarts days.
And the
Peter
way they
Pettigrew,
talk about him, he was such a good student, smart, and they kind of felt bad that he was, kind of the odd one out of the group, kind of like the one trying to fit in, but so nice and so sweet. And McGonagall was crying, talking about it, and they all pretty much felt the same about Pettigrew. He was a hero.
Yeah. Pettigrew was the one to find Sirius before the ministry officials could get to him. Yeah. So Peter Pettigrew corners Sirius Black, and Sirius Black blows up Pettigrew along with 12 other muggles. And Sirius was taken away by 20 members of the Magical Law Enforcement Squad, and Pettigrew received the Order of Merlin First Class. And now that he's escaped, Sirius Black came back to join the forces and find you-know-who. And we get a little bit of Hagrid in there. Hagrid, and this is a great callback. I love what J.K. does. Hagrid was like, right after all this happened,
he's yelling.
Hagrid goes to their home.
Oh yeah, that's
and Sirius Black shows up there. And Sirius Black is, like, hey, give Harry to me. I'm his godfather. And Hagrid's like, no, Dumbledore told me that I've got to take him to him. And Sirius is like, okay, cool. Use
take
my
my bike.
and
I don't need it.
Take my bike. I'm not going to need it anymore. And then, he leaves. And so, and that's kind of how the chapter wraps up.
Well, Dumbledore or Hagrid was,
angry.
I took Sirius's bike. I just talked to him. If I would have known that Sirius was the one that did it, there wouldn't be any bit of him left for them to find.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because all they could find of Peter Pettigrew was fragments of him.
Was a finger, not fragments, just a finger. Yeah. That's the only thing they found.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a huge chapter, and again, Harry overhearing something he's not supposed to overhear, but he should know all of this. But they're just waiting for the right time to tell him. But at this point, do you think they were going to tell him?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because later,
not until they'd caught him, I would say.
Yeah.
Because remember, Arthur Weasley at the beginning was like, "We don't want Harry to go after him," and Harry's like, "Dude wants to kill me. Why would I go after him?"
Yeah.
So maybe once they caught Black and did the thing.
Yeah. I mean, he already knows about Voldemort, so at this point, a lot of the teachers are like, well, we don't want to tell him about this and add it on. Could you imagine how he would feel? But I mean, also to leave him in the dark, it's like a morality issue. Like, I should tell him, but if I tell him, it's like, man, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
there's
that's a tough one.
a lot of setup in this chapter. A lot of every single chapter notable is a setup for a callback somewhere.
All true. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Talk to me, Andrew. Come on.
Plot holes. Plot holes.
Let's do it.
How often do we get a full moon?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person. There was a full moon the other day out during the day, and my son went, "Why is the moon out when the sun's up?" I didn't have an answer for him. I just said it happens sometimes.
Oh man, that has to do with the orbit of the moon, the orbit of the Earth around the sun, the direction that the Earth is tilting. A lot of things go into that. But that also has partly to do with the waxing and waning of the moon, different things like that. But
it happens a lot, but I think it was just big and right there, and
yeah. So we get so term starts September 1st, right?
Yeah.
Term starts September 1st. So we have all of September, all of October, all of November, and we're mostly through December. This is the start of the holiday term. So we've been September, October, November, midway through December, so 3.5 months at least. We get a full moon once a month. And we've only had one absence from Lupin. We should have had.
Was he only gone the one day?
We only see him gone. There was only one sub.
Yeah,
only one sub. So at this point, he should have been absent once in September, once in October, and once in November.
Yeah.
So that's one of those like, oh man, I picked a weird time to become ill, and it's like the students should be like, you know what, that man gets sick every month. What's the deal there? And then Lupin's like, I could help you, the only living son of my best friend growing up, how to protect yourself against Dementors, but it'll have to wait a couple of months. I got too much stuff to do. Yeah. You're like, Lupin, teach that man the Patronus Charm. What are you doing?
I can see why you're concerned, but you know what? It's a very good concern, but we'll talk about it later.
So then we get into the whole repainting of Hagrid. They're talking about what happened the night that Harry and Lily were murdered. Okay. Who performed the Fidelius Charm?
James, right?
No. Dumbledore.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Dumbledore wanted to be the secret keeper.
Secret keeper.
We want Sirius.
Yeah, we want Sirius. So they get an inside tip. They get a tip that somebody from inside the Order of the Phoenix is feeding information to Lord Voldemort's side. Right?
Yeah. They don't know who at this point.
They don't know who, which is why when it was going to be Sirius, they switched it up to Peter Pettigrew. But they didn't tell anybody because later in the book, Lupin thought it was Sirius. Sirius thought it was Lupin. But it was Pettigrew. Dumbledore knew that.
I forgot.
Dumbledore knew this. Dumbledore knows this the whole time.
Is it stated or is it assumed?
It is.
Because we do assume that Dumbledore, just by his body language and the way he talks,
Let's see.
we do assume that Dumbledore knows more than he lets off.
Yes. Let's see. Do you remember who his friend was? Worse than that, my dear. Had a number of useful spies. One of them tipped off, alerted James and Lily at once. He advised them to go into hiding. Right? Dumbledore advised them, well, of course you know who wasn't an easy person to hide from. Dumbledore told them that their best chance was the Fidelius Charm. So then they go through all that. And then they say, so Black was the Potter's secret keeper. Naturally, said Professor McGonagall. James Potter told Dumbledore that Black would die rather than tell them where they were. That Black was planning to go into hiding himself, and yet Dumbledore remained worried. Okay, so all signs point to Dumbledore does the Secret Keeper. That does the Fidelius Charm.
Well, it makes sense too that Peter Pettigrew was the Secret Keeper because we talk about that later.
Well, but here's the thing. So Peter Pettigrew is the Secret Keeper. Dumbledore knows that, and yet he lets Sirius Black go to prison. Right? So then, and I have my theories of why he lets Sirius Black go to prison. So then you've got Hagrid, who goes to Harry's house, even though there's a Fidelius Charm on the house. The only way that you can go into a location with a Fidelius Charm is if the Secret Keeper has told you where it is, or if the Secret Keeper dies. So they go into hiding because there's inside knowledge, and Voldemort is going after James and Lily. The Secret Keeper did not die. Peter Pettigrew is still alive, so Hagrid should not have been able to find Lily and James's house. The only reason Voldemort could is because Peter Pettigrew told him. Ask your question.
Do you think that the destruction of the house broke the Fidelius Charm?
No. Otherwise, what's the spell for?
Yeah.
Right? If physical means can remove a magical charm that Dumbledore puts on there.
Well, how about this for a theory?
I love a good theory.
Google AI. That same question, it says
you can call it Gemini.
It says no, the destruction of the house did not break the Fidelius Charm. But then it also says the charm broke because Voldemort's killing curse rebounded and destroyed the house, so it's kind of...
Yeah, these AIs, man, they're wild. They're wild.
Which was the physical location being protected by the secret. The Fidelius Charm protected the secret of the Potter's location, but once the physical structure was destroyed, the secret was no longer valid.
But we know that the home wasn't fully destroyed because they go back and visit it in Deathly Hallows.
That could be a plot hole.
An inconsistency, you say?
Yeah. Who would have thought?
So then here's my next plot hole of all of this.
Uh-huh.
If Sirius Black is Voldemort's number 2, right?
Okay.
This happens. He shows up. Sirius Black shows up to the house. And he's like, hey, give me Harry because I'm his godfather. And Hagrid's like, no, I can't do it because Dumbledore told me to take him to him. If Sirius Black was Voldemort's number 2 and Harry Potter was still alive, do you think Sirius Black would have been like, oh, well, here's my bike. Take him to Dumbledore then? No.
No, not at all.
No, he'd attack Hagrid and he'd kill Harry. Right?
At the very least, take Harry.
Yeah, at the very least. So him saying this is like...
Well, now keep in mind, everybody, we point out these plot holes and loopholes and just holes in the story because we're such fans of Harry Potter. We're not breaking it apart to just tear it down for the sake of tearing it down. There's all kinds of ways you can go, but the one thing we don't do is why don't they just? We don't go that route. We don't go that route.
Yeah. You have to have the human element in all of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's very easy as readers to be like, well, he should have done this. I can say the same thing about me 3 times last week. And you know what? Last week I really should have done this that day instead of doing what
podcast episode.
I should have. So it's just as the story, and again, the story gets super complex. It builds on itself quite a bit.
Just like in life, there's plot holes in life. I mean,
Sure.
every direction you turn, you take what happens at face value at the time, and it's later that you sit there and go, you know what, you know how this could have gone, or what I should have done, or what I could have done.
Yes.
You don't think about it at the time, so all these plot holes. I mean, you get plot holes in everyday life, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would just think, as a writer, you would notice the plot holes, but I mean, once you're done with a series, you can't be like, hey, look, there's all these plot holes. I need to go back and redo the books. Which
No, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it.
you can, but then people would complain. It would just change the whole entire story. So
Yeah.
I mean, the story's written for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah, it's difficult if you don't see something in book 3, as you're writing book 6,
yeah.
you're like, oh, this would be so cool. Well, it kind of says this in book 3. Nah, that's okay.
Well, and the casual reader, oh yeah, I like Harry Potter. They're not going to notice any of this stuff, which is one of the reasons why we're doing the podcast and
This super cool podcast.
the super cool podcast.
Super cool podcast. Yeah, that's right.
We do the podcast. Well, thank you everybody for listening. If you're not already following us or subscribed to us, I don't even know what you're doing. You've made it to the end and you haven't pressed a button so that you can help us out and
That's
get all
right.
the new episodes. It's just crazy.
That's right. That's right.
And are you sharing this with who are they supposed to share this with, Andrew?
All of your Potter fans.
Yeah, you should be sharing it with those people. They would appreciate it.
They would appreciate that.
Yeah, I guarantee.
Shows you care. It shows you
does
care.
show you care.
That's right. It shows you care.
Join us next time while we do a chapter review on you would never guess chapter 11 because it comes after 10. It's just crazy. We
do you
go
know
in
what
like
it
an
is?
order.
Do you know what chapter 11 is?
The Firebolt,
The Firebolt.
which is probably going to be another great chapter.
Oh, it's a great chapter. You get a little annoyed. You get a little annoyed with Hermione, but we love her anyway.
Just imagine when we get into the 4th book and beyond, how long these episodes are going to be. Woo-hoo!
Bro.
You can
It'd be
exit
a bit much.
or you can exist without your soul, as long as your brain and heart are still working. But you'll have no sense of self anymore, no memory, no anything. There's no chance at all of recovery. You'll just exist as an empty shell, and your soul is gone forever. Lost. Squibs Corner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobot and co-host by Andrew Beecham. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review, to inquire about being a guest and for questions and comments, or to just give us your Harry Potter story. Email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow my YouTube, @KillPotterGuy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram @Squibs Corner Podcast.